Hi, my name is Ashley Elliot, and this is my fashion marketing final. First and foremost, let's go into the introduction to consumer behavior. Understanding consumer behavior is essential in fashion marketing because it can help a brand establish trend prediction, help with personalized marketing, the why of the brand, and help with engagement for the brand. The more you understand your customer, the more likely you are to grow as a brand and get a good following because people are acknowledging their existence through your brand. Next, let's take a look at the infographic that describes some internal factors of a consumer and what drives their buy. First is neuroaesthetics. This is when mechanisms are applied like biological and psychological when we enjoy new products, clothing, and our brands. And then you have fashion diffusion, which is the spread of fashion throughout social groups with trickle up, trickle down, and the horizontal flow theories. You have perception, the state or process of being aware of something through awareness of our senses. You have the normative social influences when an individual succumbs to pressure to conform to expectations of others. This is what we see the most in younger generations. Society is what triggers a lot of people to buy. And then you also have the lucky loyalty effect, a consumer belief that the more they invest and buy from a brand, the more likely of a reward they are going to receive from them. Next, let's talk about some of the external influences. To start, we'll go right into the social influences. This includes generation, family, nature versus nurture, and most importantly, consumer socialization, which is when information is acquired at a young age about products and services, what to buy, how to buy, when to buy, and how to act. We also have friends, social media, social networks, marketers, politicians, and etc. The most important thing to note is the social impact theory, which is the more people involved in your life and the amount of importance they have on you, the more social influence you're going to have, which also then goes into conformity when an individual acts like others to feel more accepted within their group. Then we have cultural influences, which involves all demographic changes such as age, birth rate, life expectancy, education, income, discretionary income, which is the income you have after all needs are met. Then you have gender and occupation. Then you also have movements and events such as the 9/11 tragedy, stock market crash, 2008 financial crisis, the rise of feminism, LGBTQ plus movement, and the BLM movement. Technology has played a significant role in the social and cultural impact. Kids are a lot more tech savvy than past generations. They are more likely to play on a device than pick up a toy, resulting in the way brands market their products to change. More digital content is needing to be made along with ads. Influencers are coming to exist and e-commerce is developed. Social media platforms such as TikTok and Instagram have made it a lot easier for fashion trends to go in and out of style, resulting in many fads, fast fashion, and multitudes of fashion leaders influencing individuals to buy. Social media and technology has also made it easier for consumers to buy online, which is a few clicks you're able to purchase an item from the comfort of your own home and even get the hottest deals. The rise of technology has not only changed the way that children grow up, but also the way that people perceive the world and the way that brands market their products. To support some of these influences, let's take a look at some Google Trends that I took a look at. The first one that I found was Mermaid Core, which had a spark in interest in 2023 when the new remake of The Little Mermaid was released. And you can see on June 4th to the 10th in 2003, it had its highest peak, which was soon after the movie was released. I also decided to take a look at the Doc Martens. I remember my mom always saying that she wished she kept her Doc Martens from past years so she could give them down to me, and she would have worn them in the 80s and 90s. However, Google Trends only goes to as far as 2004. However, you can see that Doc Martens had a dip in search results between 2010 and 2016. Then Y2K started to become trendy again from movies and social media influence in 2020 and 2022, and Doc Martens started to regain popularity. The next section we will take a look at are our marketing strategies. The 4 P's are product, price, place, and promotion, and the 4 C's are customer, cost, convenience, and communication. The 4 P's are very essential in marketing. However, the 4 C's are very essential in fashion marketing. We have product, which is then determined by the customer needs and wants. We have price, which is determined by the cost to the customer. We have place, which is the convenience for the customer. And then we have promotion, which is the communication. This is our marketing strategy. The 4 C's are a more consumer-centric approach on marketing to understand what they want and how to give it to them. So what is an STP strategy? Well, the S stands for segmentation, which is dividing market into similar groups based on characteristics. Then you have your T, which is your targeting. Once segments are identified, Brand chooses specific segments to target with tailored products or services. You have your P, which is positioning. After targeting a business, most position its brand within the market to appeal directly to the chosen audience. Then you have your D, which is your differentiating yourself, making products which are different from competitors and more accessible in brand strategy. Once you have completed all of these, you then have your competitive advantage, which is the goal for the brand. Quantitative and qualitative research methods are the most important in fashion marketing, so let's take a look at a few. Qualitative focus groups are a small interview with a small demographically diverse group of people. They study the reactions and answers to research questions through crowd surfing. Then you have quantitative survey research polls. This is a list of questions aimed to gain data from a specific group of people by phone, paper, mail, internet, or spoken. They collect data from individuals with crowd surfing. Lastly, you have quantitative observational studies, systematically observing behaviors, actions, events, trends, clothing, colors without interfering with their research. They collect data through observation. So this is just people going out into the world and watching what they wear and what they do. So how does this lead to marketing strategy development? By gathering and collecting data, we can help develop a niche marketing strategy pertaining to the consumer and the brand with market segmentation. Quantitative research leads to customer satisfaction, which is shown with website traffic. Qualitative research leads to customer motivations and experiences. To support this, I have a campaign from Coach called On Your Own Time, which was released in February of 2025. You see faces like Elle Fanning with this campaign with Coach. This is a spring 2025 collection that includes chain tabby, trench coats, leather blazers, and patchwork designs. This campaign is all about not confining to societal standards and finding the courage to live at your own pace. So putting your phones away, embracing life at your own pace when a busy city, and controlling your own time. This references to perception and conformity. Some of the demographics include millennials, Gen Z, Gen X, all Jenners. This is a self-expressing person with a timeless occupation. They can be creative, they can be statistical. Some of their psychographics include someone who likes fashion, a fashion leader. They love to try new things. They're hardworking. They value good work-life balance. They love their free time, and they love to live in the moment. Next, let's take a look at branding and decision making. Brand identity. To build a brand identity, you need to know your customer identity. By creating a brand that is familiar with your consumer, the more likely the consumer is going to want to buy from you. So connection is very key. Brand identity can look like logos, packaging, displays, promotion, digital media, smell, sound, essence, values, and personality. Here is a list of ways to build your brand identity. The purpose of branding is to establish your brand identity, to connect with your consumers, differentiate yourself from other brands, establish a product that is fit for your consumer, and to establish connections. Connections are established through emotional branding. This is the act of aligning your brand with positive, engaging emotions so consumers have a way to align their beliefs with your brand, which is ethos, in short meaning credibility, pathos, in short meaning emotions, and logos, in short means reason. You can build loyalty with customers by creating relationships with your consumers. To do this, you need to create a great positioning statement, communicate effectively, understand the consumer's needs, and trust that they will buy from you if you follow how to build a great brand identity. Once you nail the emotional branding concept, you will then be able to help your consumer in the decision-making process. Will they be influenced by wellness, aesthetics, lifestyle, income, or social class? What is their motivation to buy, and how can you make that a key concept in your strategy? This can be done with social media campaigns, influencers, and PR campaigns. Social media influencers are great at marketing products to a certain demographic. This demographic includes mainly millennials and Gen Z and the start of Gen Alpha. These are also people who are constantly engaging with their phones and looking for the new trend. First and foremost, we need to take a look at the reason for the need. On the slide, you can see a diagram that shows psychological needs all the way to self-actualization. When an individual is thinking about what to buy and whether to buy or not, the first things that come to mind are psychological needs like food, water, air, shelter, sleep, and clothing. Once those needs are met or satisfied, then it goes into safety. This includes personal security, employment resources, and health. After that, people think about love and belonging, with friendship, relationships, family, and connection. Next is esteem. That goes with respect, self-esteem, and social satisfaction. Lastly is self-actualization, to be the best us that we can be. Once the reason for the need is established, we can then talk about the customer journey. Before a customer walks into a store or starts searching something online, they find their reason for the buy. What do they need? Why do they need it? And do they want it? After that is established, they start the search either in person or online. They search up all of the information that is needed, look at the views, and ask questions about the product. Then they evaluate the price, product, and compare it to others that they have found. Once a decision is made, they purchase the item. This is the outcome we want and why branding is so important, so it differentiates the product from others and gets the sale. After the purchase comes the post-purchase evaluation. Are they content with what they bought, or do they have buyer's remorse? The best outcome that can come from a post-purchase evaluation is that the customer loves the product and spreads the word around letting others know about the product. Lastly, let's take a look at some key trends and takeaways. One emerging trend that I have found are narrative voiceovers. This is rising popularity on TikTok. Individuals are making vlogs with a narrative voice explaining their day. For example, Jane Doe is walking, but little does she know, in a few seconds she will trip and fall. I believe that marketers will take this into effect and give movie voiceovers to products. The impact that this will have is that I theorize that this will give marketing a more dramatic and cinematic feeling, making people feel like their purchasing decision will be fun and exciting like the movies, even if they are just buying lotion. Another emerging trend that I have found was interactive content. More brands creating TikTok accounts and following TikTok trends. There are a lot of brands out there right now that have TikTok accounts, but I believe that more need to take that into initiative and make TikTok trends with dances, songs, and challenges. This will be more personable and connect worthy with the younger generations. I theorize that this will lead to a bigger population of the younger generations to follow suit and like a brand. For example, if a brand like TurboTax created an account, made videos with real people and these TikTok trends, then the younger generations may feel more inclined to use their brand when it comes for their time to file taxes. 3 core takeaways of consumer behavior and things to remember for a fashion marketing strategy is the first thing, the very most important thing, is to have a strong branding identity because that equals your consumer identity. The stronger brand identity you have, the more sales and more successful you are going to be. The second is to understand that society impacts the why of our buy greatly. Society results in a bunch of reasons why fashion trends go in and out of style. And the third thing is that research is crucial. That is how a customer profile is established and a brand becomes successful. So, what is consumer behavior's role in success? By creating a business strategy with a strong identity that is tailored well to your consumer, you are able to create an environment that is suitable for your customer. The consumer's behavior towards your brand will lead to higher sales and customer satisfaction. In the end, that is success. At the end of my presentation are my key terms that you will find all throughout my presentation. First, we have section 1, neuroaesthetics, fashion diffusion, perception, the lucky loyalty effect, and then normal social influence. In section 2, we have consumer socialization, conformity, subcultures, social impact theory, and discretionary income. In section 3, we have positioning, market segmentation, quantitative research, qualitative research, and crowd surfing. In section 4, we have post-purchase dissonance, brand personification, buyer persona, unsought goods, and heuristics. And then the resources that I have used for my whole presentation, where I have found all my information, was from course lectures, Google Trends, and then our course textbook, The Why of the Buy. Thank you for listening and for the semester. I hope you have a great summer. Thank you. Bye.